Hello and welcome to Tech Deals. Today we're going to cover the top 5 graphics cards that I would buy in 2023. Given the absolutely huge range of GPUs, ranging from a GTX 1630 to the RTX 4090, there is no way a top 5 list is going to cover everyone. As such, today's list is going to focus on new cards for enthusiast gamers. Used GPUs is really its own topic. If you're interested in seeing a top 5 used GPU list, please leave a comment down below and include which card you're most interested in. So, with that being said, no further ado, please sit back and relax, grab a drink, grab a snack, and let's get into it. Today's video is brought to you by eWin Racing, the best source for gaming chairs and desks for those long gaming sessions. We have a playlist of our eWin chair and desk videos linked in the video description below. Save 30% off of everything using the discount code TechDeals. More details at the end of the video. Before we get into the specific cards on this list, I want to offer a few thoughts on prices. The prices noted here were accurate when this script was written. However, GPU prices do change over time. They also vary from country to country. So if you are outside the United States, you'll need to adjust your expectations based on the differences in your local prices. GPUs are almost all about raw horsepower, as they are mostly just a brute force engine to draw lots of triangles on your screen. As such, the value of each card is directly related to its price, so this advice is a snapshot in time, not absolute recommendations on any given card. I'll be showing various benchmarks during this video. We have tested between 20 and 32 games on almost every graphics card released in the past 10 years, and we still own a majority of them. The advice in this video is based on actually having used all of these cards and considers their price, performance, and available VRAM for future games. Finally, everything discussed here will be linked in the video description below. We have a new system that provides a landing page that lets you pick your store, and then it redirects based on your country. So if you're in the United Kingdom instead of the US, you'll get Amazon UK, a nice new feature. Our first card today is the Radeon RX 6600 from AMD, featuring 8GB of VRAM while using under 150 watts of power. Most of these cards have a single 8-pin PCI Express power connector, and almost any power supply 400 watts or greater should be just fine. Shadow of the Tomb Raider runs at 1440p high detail very smoothly, 86 frames per second average with a 72 1% low. Newer games like Cyberpunk 2077 run quite well at 1440p high detail. Here you can see greater than 60 frames per second average and a 1% low that's still quite respectable, if a bit under 60. Even very demanding multiplayer games like Call of Duty Modern Warfare average 100 frames per second, and this is at 1440p high detail. The RX 6600 is available for $200 from several board partners. Do keep your eyes open for promo codes and included bonus games as well. Some cards offer some sweet bonus games. This card would be a solid choice for a new budget build as well as a drop-in upgrade for older PCs. It does only have 8 lanes of PCI Express instead of the usual 16. However, that's really not an issue, even on PCI Express Gen 3. All of the benchmarks shown here were performed on an i9-10900K, which is a Gen 3 system. Speaking of the i9-10900K, it is worth noting that you can only go so far back in the CPU world before it starts to impact even a $200 graphics card. Install this on an FX 8300 or an i7-2600K and you will not get the performance shown here. However, an i7-8700K or a Ryzen 5 3600X should be pretty close so long as you're not multitasking or live streaming your gameplay. The RX 6600 is a solid 1080p card for any game currently on the market and for the next 2 years, or a reasonable 1440p card for most current games on the market and select games for the next year or so. If you're not picky with playing every new game that launches, Jedi Survivor looking at you here, then this will provide a solid experience at a budget price. Our second card today is the Radeon RX 6700 XT from AMD, this time featuring 12GB of VRAM while using about 220 watts of power. Most of these cards will have 2 PCI Express power connectors, and almost any power supply 500 watts or greater should be just fine. Assassin's Creed Valhalla runs quite nicely at 1440p high detail, as you can see here. 96 frames per second average with a 1% low of 67. That is a solid result for a demanding game. Cyberpunk 2077 steps up to 1440p high detail with an average of 73 and a 1% low that's just slightly under 60. It is worth noting that this is with FSR off, so if you're okay to have a mild FSR setting, it only goes up from here. Fortnite is a massively popular game that used to be super easy to run until they added 15,000 bells and whistles to it. This is also 1440p high detail, and we're looking at 100 frames per second with a solid 1% low of 54, which may not sound awesome at first, but this game loves to stutter all over the place regardless of your hardware. The RX 6700 XT is available for $320 today, which is an incredible value considering the 12 gigabytes of VRAM and 50% performance gain over the 6600. Here is a side-by-side comparison of Shadow of the Tomb Raider. The RX 6600 is on the left, the RX 6700 XT is on the right. You're paying 50% more for a card that is 50% faster. That's what I call a deal. The only two reasons to buy the 6600, in my opinion, are firm budget limitations or an older PC that cannot provide the power or cooling required for a stronger card. If you have the extra $120 and a PC that can handle the 6700 XT, this is an easy card to recommend. The RX 6700 XT will play any game available today at 1440p high detail at 60 plus frames per second, many games at 4K, and almost anything at 1080p ultra detail. As for the future, this is a solid 3 to 4 year 1080p card, a good 2-year 1440p card, and if you want to play older games, pre-2020 for example, this will actually play a lot of games at 4K. You'll be surprised how well this will do it. Our third card today is the Radeon RX 6800 XT from AMD. Notice a trend here. This one featuring 16 gigabytes of VRAM while using under 300 watts of power. Most of these cards will have dual 8-pin PCI Express power connectors, and any power supply 700 watts or greater will be just fine. Watch Dogs Legion is our first test, but this time we're doing a split screen. 1440p on the left, 4K on the right, both at high detail. If you have a 144Hz 1440p monitor, this graphics card should be your starting point in shopping for a new GPU. It has the horsepower to really deliver results for high refresh rate displays. On the other hand, if you have a 4K 60Hz monitor, or a TV for that matter, the RX 6800 XT will handle that just fine as well. Borderlands 3 is next, again with a split screen between 1440p and 4K, again at high detail because Ultra is for screenshots and High is for gaming. At 1440p, we averaged 154 frames per second with a 1% low of 130. At 4K, we averaged 81 with a 1% low of 70. Horizon Zero Dawn is next. Same setup, same basic results. 1440p 144Hz or 4K 60Hz. This is a good card for either task. The RX 6800 XT is available for $520, a great card with what I consider to be the new minimum VRAM amount for premium gaming experiences. Here is a side-by-side comparison of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. The RX 6700 XT is on the left, the RX 6800 XT is on the right. This is 4K high detail. The 6800 XT isn't quite 50% faster, but it's really close. For 1440p gaming today on a high refresh rate monitor, the 6800 XT is a great value. However, do not expect this to last going forward very far. 144 frames per second at 1440p is a hard target to maintain. So if you're okay for performance to slowly scale back to 60 frames per second over the next 2 years, this is your card. It's also fine for 4K gaming today, but it does not have 2 more years of future 4K games in it. So keep that in mind if that's your goal. Our fourth card today is the Radeon RX 7900 XT, also from AMD. Once again, we have a trend. Don't worry, the fifth card will be different. Featuring 20 gigabytes of VRAM while using 300 watts of power, These also have two 8-pin PCI Express power connectors, and again, any power supply 700 watts or greater should be just fine. As nice as the RX 6800 XT is, if 1440p 144Hz gaming is really your thing, you have come to the right place. This is Assassin's Creed Valhalla, a 3-year-old game, mind you, and you're looking at 1440p high detail. On the left, we have the 6800 XT, and on the right, we have the 7900 XT. 127 frames per second average is respectable. However, 166 frames per second on the 7900 XT really is a step up for high refresh rate monitor owners. Again, this is not a brand new game, so it's all downhill from here. The Division 2 was released in 2019. This time we're looking at 4K high detail. The 6800 XT is completely playable here at 99 average and 86 1% low. However, the 7900 XT steps up with a 153 average and a 127 1% low. To put it another way, the 1% low of the 7900 XT is 30% faster than the average of the 6800 XT. I would also like to call your attention to the VRAM usage on both cards. To be fair, VRAM allocation is not the same as VRAM required. However, the days when 8 or even 12 gigabytes of VRAM was enough for 4K are over. 16 gigabytes honestly is near the end of the road for 4K, in my view. The RX 7900 XT is available today for $760. It is a solid jump over the 6800 XT, however, you are paying a bit of a premium for that performance. It does not scale 1-to-1 per dollar spent. However, you are getting RDNA 3 technology, which will age a bit more gracefully than the RDNA 2 in the 6800 XT. You are getting 20 gigabytes of VRAM and a card that should easily last 2 to 3 years of future gaming at 1440p, 144Hz, or 4K at 60Hz without a problem. If you're okay to play games closer to 100 frames per second at 1440p, this is easily a 4-year card. Perhaps 5 years depending on how picky you are at playing new games at launch versus letting them get patched and optimized after some time on the market. Unlike the lower end cards, please do not install this in anything older than a Ryzen 7 5700X or an i9 9900K, and even then, that's marginal. Ideally, this will be placed into a newly built Zen 4 or Raptor Lake based PC for a long future gaming life. Our fifth card today is the RTX 4090 from NVIDIA, featuring 24 gigabytes of VRAM while using up to 450 watts of power. These cards come with the new 16-pin PCI Express power connector and an adapter to connect older power supplies. However, you'll typically need 4 8-pin PCI Express power cables to run these, but a few newer ones come with a 3x 8-pin to 1x 16-pin adapter, including our MSI Gaming X Trio here that we unboxed last month. If you are going to go with an RTX 4090, I strongly advise you to have a 1000-watt power supply. Yes, technically 450 watts means that with a CPU and this GPU, 850 should work. Even 750 might squeeze in under the wire, but this is not the kind of video card that you want to go right to the limit with your power supply. If you have RTX 4090 money, get a 1000-watt power supply. Spider-Man Remastered is a beautiful open-world game that supports ray tracing. Here, you're watching 4K max detail with DLSS quality enabled. This game is stunningly beautiful. Imagine playing this on a desktop gaming PC back when Tobey Maguire first played Spider-Man in 2002.
Another dead end. Well, one of these losers is gonna give me some answers.
How much has changed in just 20 years' time? With an average frame rate of 118 frames per second and a 1% low of 76, the RTX 4090 can handle 144Hz 4K displays or 120Hz 4K TVs with ease. To be sure, we do have DLSS enabled. You rather have to when everything is cranked to the max. However, that's just the reality of ray tracing in 2023. Forza Horizon 5 is likewise incredible to behold at 4K extreme detail with ray tracing enabled. The water on the ground, the fog in the sky, the reflections in the car windows, it's beautiful and it runs very, very well. 143 frames per second average, 94 1% low, solid performance for a high refresh rate 4K monitor or a TV. Just like Spider-Man, DLSS was also set to quality. Cyberpunk 2077 is the game made for RTX On. If anything shows what ray tracing can do, this is it. You are watching Ultra RTX detail with DLSS again in quality mode. We're averaging 75 frames per second and our 1% low is 61. Yes, this is a $1,600 video card struggling to hold stable 60 frames per second at 4K in a 2.5-year-old game. I think we have found our new Will It Play Crisis game. To be clear, this is not using DLSS 3 frame generation, which would boost these numbers by a huge amount. This is DLSS 2, so every frame you see is actually being drawn by the GPU. This card really is in a league of its own. There is no comparable AMD card to compare it to when it comes to performance. It is also $1,600, so the price is in a league of its own as well. To put it another way, turning RTX off, to be fair to AMD, the RX 7900 XTX averages about 100 frames per second at 1440p in Cyberpunk, while the RTX 4090 comes closer to 200 frames per second. Let me say that again. The $1,000 RX 7900 XTX, not the XT, but the full XTX, is half the performance of the 4090 in Cyberpunk at 1440p. In 3D Mark's Speedway graphics benchmark with ray tracing enabled, the 4090 is a whopping 72% faster than the 7900 XTX. If epic levels of performance is your thing, there really is only one choice. But wait, you say, isn't the 4090 really just a little bit faster than the 4080? No, it is not. It is much faster. You are probably thinking of the 3080 versus the 3090, where the 3090 was really all about the VRAM, but the two cards were otherwise pretty close in speed. The 4090 is 83% faster than the 3090 in Cyberpunk at 4K with RTX on. If you have the cash, if you want the best, if you want a superior, no-compromise GPU that can run anything you can throw at it, you have come to the right place. It's not cheap, but it's also not actually that expensive. Hold on, bear with me. What other hobby can you get into where the best mankind has to offer, the absolute top of the line model, it doesn't get any better, is $1,600? How much does a top of the line bicycle cost? Fishing gear, golfing, name a dozen hobbies that people do for fun. I'm willing to bet that most, if not all of them, cost way more than $1,600 to get the absolute best mankind has to offer. Having said that, the games are the same either way. Cyberpunk is absolutely playable on the $200 RX 6600 at 1080p high detail. It just isn't nearly as pretty. There is no wrong answer here. Buy what you can afford and enjoy your games. No matter your GPU, you are a member of the PC Master Race, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. eWin Racing has a wide selection of chairs to fit all shapes and sizes of gamers, ranging from petite to cuddly. They have something for every type of gamer. Not just sizes, but colors and material options as well, including red, blue, purple, pink, orange, and more, plus cloth and leather choices. We have over half a dozen chair and desk videos in a playlist down in the video description below. We also have a very special offer just for Tech Deals viewers. Save 30% off of everything using discount code TechDeals using our link in the video description. We have used eWin gaming chairs for 3 years in our office, sitting on them for up to 8-hour marathon live streams. They are very comfortable, and we are happy to work with eWin to bring you this special discount and recommend eWin for all of your gaming chair and desk needs. Thank you all so much for watching to the end of this video. 2 gold stars for all of you still here. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the YouTube things. Again, the affiliate links to Amazon, Newegg, and eBay are down in the video description using our new landing page store selection, it'll redirect to your country of choice if you're not in the US. So thank you in advance for using those if you're doing any shopping. As for the 5 cards in this video, I am looking forward to seeing your comments down below. I'm sure there are others I could have included. Some people may say, well, what about the 6900 XT? What about the 6800 non-XT? It never ends. At some point, if you're going to make a top 5 list, you have to pick something. As I said at the beginning of the video, price affects value. If you find a 6900 XT for just $25 more than a 6800 XT, well, yes, of course you should go buy that. If you find the 6700 non-XT for $200, well, of course, that's a tremendous value for that much of a price gap. You should go buy that, and so on. There are many different cards you can buy, and there are new ones coming soon. At the time of filming, the RTX 4060 and 4060 Ti have not yet launched. The 4070 is the most recent launch as of the time of this filming, and so of course we'll have to reevaluate once those come out. AMD has also not yet launched their lower-end 7000 series cards. When the 7800 and 7700 XT launch, they might very well become the new value king. TLDR in this video, if you're looking for the best price-to-performance video card, you're looking at it. The 6700 XT, 12 gigs of VRAM, $320. This thing is amazing. You can go up from there, but you're paying a little bit more of a premium with each card to get the next level of performance. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see all of you next time. Should I say onlyfans.com/techdeals? How many comments do you guys think we're going to get on the OnlyFans mug? onlyfans.com/techdeals. There really is a page there. There's no feet pics. I'm sorry. Would they buy feet pics?
Graphics cards feet pics.
Graphics cards with the coolers removed.
But then they wouldn't be cool anymore. They would be hot.
Overclocked graphics cards, maximum temperature. Of course, if you have a 3600, you should get a 5700X, but that's a separate conversation. Fortnite. Fortnite. I mean, Far Cry New Dawn, for example, well over 60 frames a second at 4K on this. We could make as many of these as we want. You know, I think it's illustrative, the fact that I've got 4 AMD cards in this list and there's only one NVIDIA. If you're going NVIDIA, there's this and then
There's exactly one option.
there's, yeah. If you had to guess, with ray tracing off at 1440p but otherwise max settings, what is the performance gap between a 7900 XTX and a 4090 at 1440p? No ray tracing, no FSR, and no DLSS.
50%?
Keep going. According to GPU Monkey,
70%?
over 90% faster. It's almost double. The XTXs are 1,000. That's only 60% more. You're getting what you're paying for. It's just, anyway. This graphics card should be your starting point to shop for a new GPU. It has the horsepower to really deliver the result. Stupid words. Words are hard. I know speak English. Thought English class in high school was a joke. Apparently not. I was wrong. 6600. You know what? If you're willing to go back a generation in games, a 6600 will play at 4K just fine. One of these boxes is not like the others. Imagine playing this on a desktop gaming PC back when Tobey Maguire played Spider-Man in 2022. Jesus. Herp-a-derp-a-derp-a-derp. You realize we could just do a video on DLSS 3 frame generation using just Cyberpunk and make a quick video and it wouldn't take but a day to make?
Yep, yeah, that's true, because you could.
I think we should wait until the 4060 and 4060 Ti launch, because then we can show DLSS 2 versus 3 in the 4060, 4060 Ti, 4070, 4070 Ti, 4080, and 4090. Really, like, that's it. Just really quick. What is the difference between DLSS 2 and 3 in NVIDIA's new line? Only 75 frames per second with DLSS 2. I have 4K 144 hertz monitors over there.
Well, turn it down from ultra to high.
I don't want to.
That's a personal problem.
DLSS 3 to the rescue. Doubles frame rate. Because it makes 50% fake frames.